Hi. Good morning, everybody. I open the council meeting for the 30th of June, our final one for the financial year. I have got apologies from Councillor Hayward, and we have Izzy and Taku via Zoom. So I will move the apologies. Seconded by Councillor Sauli. All those in favour? All those against? Carried. Public forum this morning. We've got a couple of items. So first of all, we're going to start with John Hannon, who received a civic, or didn't receive because he wasn't there on the night, a civic award for COVID. So John, would you like to come up to the front here? I need to read this before I can read the microphone. So this award is for outstanding work for older people and social services during the COVID-19 pandemic response for the people of Porirua City. John works for the Porirua RSA as a welfare officer and has volunteered for many years as an advocate for the needs of the city's retired veterans. John has gone above and beyond, providing kai deliveries, transport and sorting a number of issues for Porirua veterans. So we'd like to congratulate John and present him with his award. Okay, thank you, John. So next we're moving to Maddie Moore for you, a year 13 student from Tawa College, who currently resides in Porirua, and she's going to present her speech that she has done recently, are you going to do it again? Come forward, Maddie, for the Race Unity Award. No, you already done it? So she's going to do it again for us this morning, so welcome.
He kakano pohu tukawa, paua ki te whenua, ngā hihi o te rahe o ranga, hihiri pupu ke kune. A waiata, passed down through generations that signified my creation, I am the rangatahi. A small seed which was planted, embedded in the earth by my tipuna, I am connected. From rangi nui ta papa tuanuku, te rito te harakeke woven from my whakapapa, I am here. I was yesterday, I am now, I will be tomorrow, for I am the rangatahi. I could sing this waiata before I learned to talk, before I learned to walk, before I was aware of my existence and my brain that my thoughts had me to blame, aware of my skin and its colour that I was created by my mother, aware that I, like you, are human, that I, like you, are unique, that I, like you, am an individual just as much as we are a collective. We are all one race, the human race. Ngā mati no te ringa kotahi, the fingers of one hand. Aotearoa was created with unity as its base. 1,000 years ago, when Kupe first determined this whenua for his people, we didn't have the individual, the communities, or the institutions because we simply did not need them. We didn't rely on structures to separate ourselves from one another. The defining characteristic of the Māori way of living was that we, as the whānau, the hapu, and the iwi, were not separate. We were one hand, working together. Every diverse voice, perspective, and thought was integrated into our collective decisions. Fast forward 800 years, and not only does one hand become two, but the fingers become isolated. Colonists bring their new bright ideas, and we've had to struggle through these foreign ways of living ever since. Western frameworks and false ideals have forced us to coexist rather than exist as one. We ended up being forced into communities and institutions that were created to separate us from them. Racism in Aotearoa was born from this very moment. We were put into schools labelled mainstream to stream our diversity into a main way of thinking, forced to speak a foreign language, didn't have the right to vote. Our homes were taken from us and our lives were all afloat. A new society was built around us whilst we watched from the side. Systemic racism was born and we were left to ride this turbulence of a time that's now lasted far too long. We must return to where we started and use the taonga of our song. In my culture, and perhaps in yours too, a waiata is a taonga. My waiata was passed down to me, and that is why I sang it to you today. When I sing it, I feel the strength of my tipuna. We all have special things that we think will do that make us feel connected to our ahurea. We must all sing as one, amplify our voices together to dismantle the systemic inequities that continue to dominate our lives. We know for a fact that the cultures of our country have suffered from years of oppression. The mistreatment of my tipuna continues to harm myself and others. Generational trauma is passed down through family trees and as a result, flows through me. We have been stereotyped as a statistic, as people who are not persistent, but let's be realistic, we all coexist in a world that just wants peace. We live in a country where te reo Māori is a supposed priority, yet we're still the minority. Pacific Island and Asian cultures are pushed aside and are barely truly recognised. Racism lives in every aspect of our society, but it's not our fault. We were created this way from the moment Aotearoa was colonised. We see the diversity efforts, and this is important, but how will we uphold authentic and genuine representation if we still operate under the systems that were built on racist ideals? Aotearoa is now a multicultural country, and let us not forget that diversity runs in our veins. It is no longer a struggle of Māori and Pākehā, but a struggle of everybody. Although many of us come from different parts of the world, we all call Aotearoa home. We must be ngā mati no te ringa kotahi, the fingers of one hand, to truly appreciate all of our cultures and all of our traditions. So, how might mutual support and cooperation between the individual, the community, and the institutions of society help us achieve racial equity and unity? Through a te ao Māori lens, this question becomes an answer. Mutual support and cooperation come naturally when we return to where we once were, working together as a collective. Currently, our communities and institutions are two separate hands, one right, one left, and sometimes one doesn't even know what the other is doing. In order to achieve this racial equity we envision for Aotearoa, we must structure a plan in supporting each and every culture. Using the concept of awhi, we can understand that we must work on the revitalisation of Māori culture first in order to expand and work on others. We must begin with aho. Māori culture is still awaiting the equity that it is deserving of after years and years of suffering on our own land. Only then can we continue to work with the whānau, hapu, and iwi, awhi. We have the answers. Our founding document tells us to be partners, to be cooperators in order to be united. It gives us the roles that we need as members of society to work on eradicating racism in our nation. Signed in 1840 by Mai Tipuna, Te Tiriti o Waitangi is a living document, and thus it lives within our multicultural society. My existence on this whenua binds me to Te Tiriti, just as your existence binds you. Each and every one of us must work together, and we must live by its values and uphold its principles. It's not enough to use partnership, participation, and protection as buzzwords. To truly face racism within our nation, we must all embody what they mean. Partnership is not a mere concept. It is a genuine relationship between all people. Partnerships are the foundation of any working structure, and as treaty partners, we must all work together. To participate is not to sit in the comfort of indifference. Participation starts small. Visit your local marae. Connect with diverse cultures. Celebrate every ethnicity. Their dance, their language, their ways of teaching. Involve yourself in conversations that broaden your cultural horizons. Protection is active and continuous. We must not only protect ourselves, not only each other, but the broader environment from which we descend. We must look to how we once lived to guide our way to a future that thrives on racial equity. Let us protect our diversity. Such action requires everybody. We must truly connect across cultures and complexions to realize that we are all equal. We will not reach a place of true unity until we all learn how to dismantle the systemic racism within our nation. As the great Moana Jackson once said, we are not alone in our struggles. We stand in the light of our ancestors. We are all products of those who came before us. We are the fingers of one hand, and as my waiata was passed down to me, I gift my taonga to you from those who came before us. He kaka no pohutu kawa, paua ki te whenua, ngā hihi o te rahe o ranga, he hiri pupu ke kune. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. That was absolutely awesome. Does anyone want to say anything? I'm looking at you all because it's like, I knew someone wants to. No? We'll let you go back to college. Thank you so much for coming in, for you and your teacher. We appreciate it.
Massive.
Oh, that was yesterday. They're asking how you went in the speech yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Out here.
Semi-finals. Thank you. Okay,
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Bye. Okay, you can now take your mask off. Okay, so I move on. That was awesome. No conflicts of interest declarations. I haven't had any. No notification of ordinary business. So we move to confirmation of minutes from the 26th of May from our ordinary meeting. I'll move that. Seconded by Councillor Leggett. Any changes for anyone? No? Thank you. All those in favour? All those against? Carried. So we move to report of the Mayor. It's been a really busy month this month because it was the start of our business month. Taku and I opened the New Zealand Federation of Ballroom Dancing, which was a fantastic weekend of dancing for all those who attended. I have to say we did enjoy it. Then I opened the National Indoor Bowls Tournament that was here. We had 540 bowlers from around the region here for a week, so that was actually quite good for our economy. Phil and I attended the harbour clean-up in that horrible weather weekend when we had our storms for the We Love You Foundation, followed by the Plymouton Kindergarten midwinter dip where they chose to stay indoors, which was quite nice, but not good for the kids, but they still raised a lot of money, so that was great for the Plymouton Kindergarten. And I judged, obviously, the costume competition there. And then we had the terrible flooding event where we activated our EOC, but our staff were absolutely amazing, along with all the services, fire service. So we actually coped really well from that. Last weekend, there was a few of us who went to Parramatta Plymouton Rugby Old Timers Day. We've celebrated the Rotary Community Garden for a men's shed. We've obviously had our Civic and Mural Awards, which were last week, and obviously with John this morning. We had Minister Nash out for a discussion about the Adventure Park with Ngāti Toa, and then we had the BA5 with James Ardern from Whitakers on the same day, and they both speak. We obviously started Matariki for our holiday, and we've had a huge program of events. We've had Russell Harrison and the Brown Brothers, Under the Stars, the Kapahaka, So many things. I did a kasiki last night, which was really great, and the kids have been pouring into the event. Our staff have been really busy and they've done a fantastic job. So I want to congratulate Samoan Capital Radio. We had their 30 years in broadcasting yesterday. Izzy and I went to that, and they certainly made a big splash, and it went really well. And of course, the wetland this morning. So it's been a busy start to June, really, for the whole of the month. Now, I don't think we've got Taku at the moment. He was going to Zoom in, so we'll leave his report to later. So we move to committee recommendations. So over to you, Councillor Liggett.
Thank you, Mayor Baker. Yes, I'd like to move the Tipuna Kōrero recommendations of the 23rd of June this year regarding the Raiha Street speed limit change.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Duncan. All those in favour? All those against? Carried. So now we move to 11.1, adoption of the annual plan. I'm going to move it to put on the table, seconded by Councillor Waddle. So open for discussion. I know it seems quite straightforward. Is any questions from anybody? No? Okay. All those in favour? All those against? Carried. Now we move to 11.2, setting of the rates. I'll move it to put it on the table, seconded by Councillor Weehappy. Any comment on this? I know these reports are all straightforward, sorry. Okay, all those in favour? Those against? Carried. 11.3, update to the operation of delegations to resource consent teams. I'll move that to put it on the table, seconded by Councillor Nalo. Any questions on this one? Gosh, we're flying through this morning, guys. No questions, straightforward. Oh, Councillor Sayoli.
I don't want Izzy to hear. Okay. Just on page 109, there's something there on under the heading of delegation to the City Delivery Committee. I'm just wondering whether that's a mistake or whether somebody correct me on that. City Delivery Committee was the last.
It is a mistake.
Yeah.
Well done. Staff will change that. Thank you. Anybody else? Any corrections? I'm impressed. Okay, all those in favour? All those against? Carried. 11.4, strategic risk update. I'll move that to put on the table, seconded by Councillor Trillin. Any questions on that for anyone who hasn't been at audit and risk? No? Okay, all those in favour? All those against? Carried. 11.5, change to reimbursement of elected members policy. I'll move that to put it on the table, seconded by Councillor Murrell. Morel. I saw you raise your finger. Do you not want to?
No,
Yeah.
I don't care. No, that's fine.
Okay, discussion.
I was turning the page.
Oh, sorry.
Get off.
Any discussion on that one? Gosh, all behaving this morning. You can speak? No? Okay, all those in favour? Those against? Carried. So I move we go into public excluded, seconded by Councillor Duncan. Are we